In this question, we need to show on the grid, by shading, the region that satisfies all of these inequalities. We have 2y plus 4 is less than x is less than 3, and y is less than 6 minus 3x. And we need to label the shaded region the letter R. Now in order to shade these regions, we need to draw these three lines. And so we have the line 2y plus 4 is less than x. Now we want to have this line in the form y equals mx plus c, so that we're able to plot it. We can start by moving the 4 to the other side, and so we'll have 2y is equal to x minus 4. Now to make y the subject, we want to divide both sides by 2, which will leave us with y is less than half x minus 2, and you can see that this is in the form y equals mx plus c, where the gradient m is equal to a half, and the y-intercept c is equal to minus 2. Now the line x is less than 3 is already something that we can plot, so we can leave that how it is. And then we have y is less than 6 minus 3x. Now y is already the subject of this expression, but we can write it in the form y equals mx plus c by making the minus 3x come first. And so we can write this as y is less than minus 3x plus 6. We need to draw each of the three lines in the purple boxes. We'll start with y is less than half x minus 2. We know that the y-intercept is equal to minus 2, and so we can label this point on our graph. We have the y-intercept of minus 2, and now we need to use our gradient in order to draw the line. We know that the gradient is equal to the change in y divided by the change in x. We have a gradient of 1 over 2, and so the change in y would be equal to 1, and the change in x would be equal to 2. If our change in y is equal to 1, we go one space upwards, and if our change in x is equal to 2, we go two spaces to the right. And so our new point would be at the coordinate 2 minus 1. And so we can apply the same principle for the rest of this line. Now you can see that we've used our gradient of 1 over 2 in order to plot the rest of the points of this line. And now we can draw the line by joining these points together. But now remember that we're dealing with inequalities. We said that y is less than half x minus 2. And so the region where y is less than half x minus 2 would be anything below this line. And so we can draw arrows that point in the direction of this region. Now our next line is x is less than 3. Now to draw the line of x is equal to 3, we'd be drawing a vertical line at the point where x is equal to 3. Now we need to find the region for which x is less than 3. And so x is less than 3 when x is equal to 2, 1, 0, minus 1, minus 2, and so on. And so you can see that the region where x is less than 3 would be the region to the left of the line. And again, we can draw arrows in order to show this. Now the last line that we need to draw is the line y is less than minus 3x plus 6. We have a y-intercept of 6, and so we can mark the point on our graph where the y-coordinate is equal to 6. And so we've drawn this point over here. Now we can use our gradient in order to draw the rest of our line. This line has a gradient of minus 3. Minus 3 is equivalent to minus 3 over 1. And so if the gradient is equal to the change in y divided by the change in x, we can say that the change in y is equal to minus 3, and the change in x is equal to 1. If we have a change in y of minus 3, we're going to go 3 spaces downwards. And if we have a change in x of 1, we're going to go one space to the right. And so we can mark this point on our graph. And now that we've marked this point over here, we can apply the same principle in order to draw the rest of the points on this line. Now we can join these points together to draw our line. Now that we've drawn the line y equals minus 3x plus 6, we need to look at the inequality. It says that y is less than minus 3x plus 6, and so we need to look at the area below the line. And so again, let's draw some arrows. Now on our graph, each of the three lines are drawn with their associated arrows, and so we need to find the region that satisfies all of these inequalities. And so this area would be one where you can see all three arrows, And so we can see that over here. You can see that we have the arrows from the line y is less than half x minus 2. We then have the arrows from the line x is less than 3. And then we have the arrows from the line y is less than minus 3x plus 6. And so we can see that this region over here is our shaded region. And so you can now see that we've firstly made our diagram a lot neater, and of course we've shaded the region which satisfies all of the inequalities above. Now this question is worth 3 marks. We get the first 2 marks for correctly drawing each of the 3 lines. And we get the third and final mark for the correctly shaded area, which you can see in our diagram is shaded in purple, allowing us to get the full 3 marks needed in this question.